Moving into your own house is a big dream for many, but it can also be a big headache for differently abled persons. In most cases, they are not able to move into dwellings and complexes, as many of these are not structurally constructed with them in mind. Many of these buildings do not have lifts or ramps, presenting challenges for wheelchair-bound people, for example. Leah Masdorp is an estate agent in Johannesburg with over 24 years of experience. She says families with a disabled member often have to buy a house and then spend more money restructuring it to suit the needs of that particular family member.
It's a difficult situation because you know what's happening. There's so many people need that, but normally they haven't got the type of money to buy a place with all the changes. And I mean, that's what I understand. People who've got something with a disability, the parents buy the place, and it's rare that you get a person with a disability buy the place themselves. Depends on if they, but the parents buy the place and change it for that person because he's still capable to live by himself but not alone.
Mambele Chivase uses a wheelchair to get around. She says she has faced many challenges renting or trying to buy a house.
And I also considered buying property, which has been a great challenge for me because most of the places that I've viewed, I've realized that there are no facilities. But in terms of renting, the issue was the fact that I couldn't have the apartment that was on the top floor, but I was accommodated on the ground floor. Hence, the apartment that they've given me or allocated me to was also not wheelchair friendly. So I had to write so many emails, send emails, write letters to request if they can accommodate me. And it took like almost 6 months where you were depending to neighbors and other people around you to assist you to get into the apartment.
Luyanda Tremane has also experienced similar challenges as Chivase. Her journey to own a house started 10 years ago, and even now she's still struggling to secure a home for her family. After her difficulties with renting a house, which was not easily accessible for her, she decided to rather buy a house. But securing funding to buy the house has ended with her growing list of challenges.
It is difficult trying to rent a place. It is difficult trying to buy a house.
The National Council of and for Persons with Disabilities, NCPD, is an organization that strives to alleviate challenges faced by people with disabilities in their daily lives. The organization says South Africa still has a long way to go in sensitizing citizens to the needs of differently abled people.
There's still a lot of work to be done when it comes to reasonable accommodation, when it comes to persons with disabilities. So you find a building having 6 steps and only having 1 ramp. You find a building with too much lighting for a person who's visual impact cannot operate in too much lighting. So you find that buildings only have steps and they don't have elevators for wheelchair users. And you find that steps are a bit big to an extent that you cannot carry a person using a wheelchair or using a walker. So it's a huge challenge in South Africa.
The NCPD calls for buildings to be adjusted to accommodate persons with physical disabilities. It says it's available to advise on measures that can be adopted to assist in accommodating people with disabilities. Gloria Safako Mosi, SABC News, Johannesburg.